If you've ever been to one of my camps, you know that pretty much throughout the entire day, I'm telling stories. I'm talking, I'm laughing, I'm trying to get all the long snappers just to relax and not essentially focus on the art of long snapping. Well, since I haven't had a camp in a couple of weeks, and it doesn't look like I'm having one for a couple more weeks, I thought I would tell you a nice quick story that I don't think many of you have heard about. This story revolves around my Uncle Jim. If you've heard this one, feel free to turn this off. If you haven't, feel free to listen up. Of course, if you have heard this one, you know it's going to be fantastic because my Uncle Jim was an amazing human being. So a little background. My Uncle Jim, he's passed away now. He had a very long, fruitful life, one of the most amazing human beings you've ever met. His full name was Uncle Jim. It wasn't Uncle, obviously, but Jim Panucci. He's from a little town just outside of Pittsburgh called McKees Rocks. Very, very blue-collar town, filled with Italians. Now, my Uncle Jim used to always fly down to California and see us about 2 to 3 times a year. You always knew what luggage Uncle Jim had because he would bring 2 suitcases. One suitcase was simply for clothes, and this is no joke, the other suitcase was filled with meats and cheeses. You could literally smell his suitcase coming around the conveyor belt. I'm not joking, he had a full suitcase filled with meats and cheeses. So the story goes like this. I'm in my sophomore year in college. He comes down. I'm big at the time. I'm really big. We're talking 285, maybe 290 pounds at this point. And he comes over to my grandmother's house. We called her Maka. And he starts making a sandwich. And he says to me, "Christopher, would you like a sandwich?" I said, "Uncle Jim, of course I'd like a sandwich. Look at me. Let's roll. Let's give me a nice big sandwich." He goes, "Well, I want to see you make it." Okay, Uncle Jim. I get the bread out. I get all the meats, the cheeses, the mayonnaise, the mustard, all that good stuff. And I start making this monster of a sandwich. We're talking this big, a huge, massive sandwich. And he goes, looks at me, basically kind of pissed off. He goes, "Christopher, I thought you were hungry." I said, I am, Uncle Jim. Look at the size of this sandwich, man." He goes, "Well, why don't you cut it?" I go, "I don't need to cut it. I'm just going to eat it whole." He goes, "But I thought you were hungry." I said, I am. Look at the size of this sandwich, man." He proceeds to take a knife, cuts my sandwich in half. And he goes, "There, now you have 2 sandwiches. You have more food." And I said, "Uncle Jim, it's the same sandwich, just cut in half." He goes, "Christopher, you're smart?" I said, "Yeah, I think I'm smart. I'm in college, I'm at UCLA." "Well, what number's bigger, 2 or 1? And I said, "Well, 2 is." He goes, "Now you have 2 sandwiches. 2 is better than 1. And I laughed right to his face, and he still, to the day he passed away, would insist that 2 is better than 1, even if it was the exact same sandwich cut in 2. Hope that brings a little joy to your day today. I'll try to think of some more stories to entertain you with. And Uncle Jim, hope you're having a good time up there doing what you're doing.